Well, I think the reason why I love KUSF dates back to my love of music and listening to radio. I started listening to a lot of radio when I was young as a paper boy. I had to get up in the morning and my alarm clock would go off and make a little noise and the radio would click on. So I would listen to a bit of radio before I got up to do my paper route at 4 o'clock in the morning. And back then it was like AOR and things like that I was listening to. But music meant a lot at that time. That was the late 60s, early 70s. And when I got to college, I realized at St. Mary's that there was a radio station. And they told me, well, do you want to do a radio program someday? And I said, a radio program? I said, well, what would I have to play? And they said, oh, you can play anything you want. And I said, wow, that's a very interesting opportunity. And that was about 1976, and I started to listen to the records that they had at the radio station. And being exposed to all of these bands like Kraftwerk and the Runaways and things like this, I was dreaming about where I was going to go with my radio program when I actually sat down to become a radio disc jockey. But we had to spend about a year getting a new transmitter up because they were increasing the power requirements of us at that time. And one of the things that influenced us a great deal once we had the setup done, our chief engineer at Taiwaniak had done a lot of work on it, and one of the alumni, former DJ at the station, had also done a lot of work on building the new station. A major influence on us was KUSF. It was their programming starting in 1977 influenced a great deal of what we decided to do with the radio station in terms of the format. And what was really important to us as a radio station was the variety of programming. And KUSF, to a certain extent, made a very good model for that as well. In fact, when we ultimately went on cable as well, we were at 89.5 over the airwaves in Contra Costa, but to reach the audience in the hills there, we had to get on cable, and we chose 90.3, which was the same frequency, of course, that KUSF had in the Bay Area. But it's that diversity of programming, of different influences, music. There's bands that I would never have heard of if I hadn't heard of them on KUSF. And even when I was a disc jockey, just seeing the variety of records in our record library exposed me to a wide variety of music. I have nothing against classical music. I've done classical radio programs as well as other types of programs. But I don't feel that that's the best use of the frequency that KUSF has held for this period of time. I think that they've done an excellent job in terms of reaching out to the community and providing a wide variety of music. And I feel in a way that there's this sort of an assault on the artistic community in San Francisco, is that it's killing a major voice in terms of providing a wide variety of influences on people as musical artists, being a musician myself. I know that when I listen to something like Le Mystère de Voix Bagarre or something, I'm listening to music that I don't hear a lot of in the San Francisco Bay Area on other radio stations. And I've seen over the years San Francisco Bay Area go from having a wide variety of different types of radio stations to an ever narrowing variety of radio stations that are all playing pretty much the same thing. And that is very, very troubling, because I think that to become an individual means to make choices, but if you aren't given options, then you can't really make choices. You cease to be an individual. It's a real assault on you as a person. And I think that that's one of the major losses that will happen, is people will just become homogenized. And it's because all of these different voices are being stifled. And a radio station like KUSF that had programming in different languages and introduced people to different cultures and styles of music, and had people that were so knowledgeable about that, and the opportunity for the students at the college to learn about music and see people with that degree of enthusiasm about music, I think had a very powerful effect on the Bay Area in general. It certainly was a banner, I would say, a bastion of culture in the Bay Area, and it's a shame to see that it's been treated with such disrespect by the administration of the University of San Francisco. To me, it's just inconceivable that they've done what it is they've done to this point, and I just hope that they will step back from the brink and realize the grave error and disservice they've done to not only the Bay Area, but to the very idea of being a human being, being an individual, and to a certain extent, the right to interface with different ideas and cultures and become what it is you can be as an individual. But that's my message.